Welcome to the Point Out Loud Women Trailblazers podcast. In this series, we're going to focus on where love meets leadership, women in philanthropy. This podcast is brought to you by the Salzman Center for Women's Leadership. Here at UW-Stevens Point, we believe that meaningful change begins with students and leaders who are committed to shaping a more inclusive, innovative, and empowered campus.
Well, thank you, Kelsey and Lena, for inviting me to join you as a co-host for this series, highlighting voices of passionate women working in philanthropy. I'm Jenny Riggenbach, the CEO of the Community Foundation of Central Wisconsin, and a member of the Century School of Business and Economics Business Advisory Council. Kelsey, I'm telling you, our listeners are going to really enjoy the mix of philanthropy our guests represent. From nonprofit fundraising, corporate philanthropy, and public higher education fundraising. These leaders are redefining what it means to lead with expertise, compassion, and purpose. And the best part is all of them are UWSP alumni.
As Frida Kahlo once said, "Feet, what do I need you for when I have wings to fly?" Today we honor the UWSP students focused on their purpose and courageously developing their own wings to fly. Today we're thrilled to welcome Bridget Kesner, the Director of Development for Ronald McDonald House Charities, Eastern Wisconsin. With 35 years of experience in the nonprofit sector, Bridget has dedicated her career to serving organizations that support children, families, and communities. She's led fundraising, donor cultivation, grant management, and strategic innovations that make a real difference in people's lives. Beyond her professional expertise, Bridget is passionate about mentorship, leadership, and building meaningful relationships that advance mission-driven work. We're excited to dive into her insights, experiences, and the lessons she's learned along the way.
You are in for a treat. She talked about the collective yes. She talked about having her heart out, saying thank you. She schooled us in how we ought to try to say yes, even when it's scary. And most of all, I think what you're going to love most are her storytelling skills. Let's lean in and, in Bridget's words, learn in this series how to take up our responsibility of reaching a hand back.
All right. Well, Bridget, it is so great to meet you. I want to just start by telling you how much the Ronald McDonald House means to my family. When our 19-year-old was 2, he spent 10 days at Children's Hospital in Milwaukee. We were lucky enough to only live a couple miles from there, so we were back and forth trading off. But there were so many families we met who didn't have that luxury, and luxury, such an odd thing to say. But we really realized how lucky we were getting to know other families who had the benefit of being able to utilize Ronald McDonald House. So this really just means the world to me to get to know you a little bit better. So fundraising is at the heart of your work with the Ronald McDonald House Charities. Can you talk about where the funds you raise go and how the way donors connect with the mission might be evolving?
Yeah, it's interesting. I always think about that I do fundraising and fundraising to support the big, beautiful house that love builds and is sustained by, really. It's not just the beautiful people who choose to donate their money to the house, but it's the 425 plus volunteers who range in age from 14, and our oldest volunteer right now is 89, who share their hearts and their hands and their passion for supporting our families every single day. And those are just the regularly scheduled volunteers. It's not the episodic volunteers who share their time coming in to do projects, or the countless people who come in and make dinners for our families almost every night of the week. So it's this big community that wraps its arms around our house and allows us to provide our families with everything that they need when they're walking alongside a child that has an illness that requires them to be oftentimes very far from home. And so all of the funds that we raise support this big mission. because we don't charge our families anything to stay here. So it's all the things that we use in our homes and have access to, except think about it's an 84-room house. That has taken care of, in this year alone, families from 40 different states and 4 foreign countries. Wow. So, it takes a lot to make this mission move forward for our families.
Bridget, I just love that you talked about love right out of the gate. You know, it's having worked in philanthropy for so much of my career and now leading a community foundation, we're always talking about that the true definition of philanthropy, right? Which is love for humankind. And so the fact that you're doing all of this to just lift the burden off of families is just incredible. So love it. Can you give us a sense of how donor connections might be changing? Like, are you seeing different demographics volunteering more or giving in different ways over your career?
That's an interesting question, because the 2 places I've done most of my development work around were so different, right? Marquette University, I did development for 10 years for the College of Engineering. So you have a built-in constituency, right? All these alumni who had really positive experiences at Marquette, and a desire, Marquette talks about being the difference. They have a desire to give back and be the difference. And so I had this built-in group of friends and people who wanted to help make sure Marquette could do what it does best, educate students. And then I came to the Ronald McDonald House and I was like, you don't have a built-in group of constituents. So it's sort of the ongoing storytelling and connecting in the community and thinking about where and how we can tell our story to engage and inspire people to support the work that we're doing here. So I think I feel like we're just so incredibly blessed because of the work that we do, and people donating out of gratitude that they did not have a child that required a long stay away from home, or families who were impacted and used a Ronald McDonald House either here or somewhere else, and they want to pay it forward for people today who are walking that path. And then it's businesses in our community who want to be a part of doing something good. And I think because we have so many entrance points for people to volunteer and share their time and their talent and their hearts, it allows us to connect and show impact, which hopefully inspires people to continue to want to walk alongside us.
I love that. Walk alongside you. Yeah. That's a great way to portray the relationship between, I think of your givers as people who are sending you out in your work.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that walk alongside.
Right. And good development, I think, is all about relationship. And for me, it's been really important in my work here and at Marquette to not always have my hand out asking, but to have my heart out saying thank you. Oof. And I want to invite you in to see the impact of your philanthropy on the students who are benefiting from a Marquette engineering degree today, or by people walking in today and being able to see the impact of their philanthropy as it touches the families that are calling our house home.
Wow. No, that's so inspirational. That makes me so happy when you say all of that kind of stuff. I do have a question for you. Like, as a UWSP alum, what role has UWSP played in your career or your success?
Everything. Oh my gosh, this will make me cry, because everything I am today is because of my experience at UWSP. I was a 5-year student because I took the scenic route. Everything was interesting.
Yeah, good.
and I thought, never again in my lifetime will I have access to so many opportunities to learn. So I took a forestry class, and I took modern dance, and I took all kinds of things.
I love it.
To just really round out my experience.
Wow.
And I had the benefit of and I say this to students even now that I interface with, residence life and student life at UWSP is the best of the best. And I was there during a very magical time with Bob Mosier and John Jury and Fred Leifgren and Cindy Chelkin and Sue Mitchell and all these beautiful people who saw something in me I didn't see and said, we believe in you and we want to encourage you. And so I was an RA for 2 years. I was an assistant hall director. I worked in the conference planning office alongside Holly Ben-Benick. And all of those people believed in me and gave me opportunities that helped me. And I'm going to say maybe more than what I learned in the classroom.
Okay, I love it.
Because it was that real life experience. It was those opportunities to practice what I was learning in the classroom in a real way. That allowed me to go out and get my first job very boldly when somebody said, well, you have no experience. And I'm like, excuse me, let's talk about all of my experience. So I am who I am today because of UWSP. My closest friends are men and women I met when I was an RA and when I lived in Neal Hall. So yeah, I always am promoting UWSP to others.
Wow. Sounds like you definitely did discover your purpose here, which I absolutely love. It's awesome to hear the different stories because I'm currently a student and I hear current stories, but it's awesome to hear from older alums their stories and how much UWSP impacted them, because it's definitely impacted me now, but it's also amazing to hear how it's impacted you when you were a student.
It's also just such a small world, isn't it? John Jury was actually an executive director for the organization I now lead many years ago, and he's a donor, and he comes in all the time with, his instigator instincts that always encouraging people to just, experience things and do things. So I can see what an influence he probably had on you too. That's great. Very good. Okay, I'm going to ask you a couple questions. I come from like the wonky side of philanthropy, right? And anytime I get to talk to somebody else who walks in sort of the same shoes as I do, I like to dig into a little bit more on impact. And one of the things that I'm really curious about, and having someone like you have so much experience, what you've seen in your career, and when it comes to nonprofit fund development, what do you think people tend to misunderstand, and how does that misunderstanding affect the field's ability to raise resources and create the impact we heard from you earlier?
Yeah, I think for me, the thing I say this sort of tongue in cheek, right? People often have an idea that people who do this work are always just like, oh, here comes Bridget, hold on to your wallet. That she's going to be just asking me for money. And it's such an interesting question for you to ask because I'm getting ready to retire in February.
Oh, wow.
And,
Congratulations.
Thanks. And I've been talking to donors and past board members, and a board member I respect so very much said, I don't know how you do what you do because you never really ask me for money, but I'm always writing you checks. And I believe that people who do this work well find ways to listen and tell stories and invite people in. And if I do that really well, a person is going to say, oh my gosh, I didn't know that, or that's incredible. How can I help? And then it's my job, based on what I've heard and observed and what I know of them, to provide them with an opportunity to give in a way that is really meaningful to them and moves our mission forward. So if I'm meeting with you and you're talking about your love of food and memories around the kitchen table, and then you're like, and you're here and you see we have 9 kitchens and we feed people all the time, I'm going to probably say to you, I know that you've talked a lot about your memories around food. I'd love to talk to you about some opportunities to help make sure our families have those same moments.
Yes.
Would you be willing to talk to me about how you could help us continue to do that? So,
I'm thinking about your power as a storyteller.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that something you intentionally cultivated?
Yeah, I think, well, I'm a communication major from UWSP.
Perfect answer. Perfect answer. Okay.
And so I think I found in my classwork, and I had Jim Haney for a member, an advisor, who was an incredible mentor to me. And the power of the word, the power of creating a story using language and great visualization and creating connection and feeling through a story is then, I think I had the gift, but it got cultivated and enhanced as a student, and then watching other people just be incredible storytellers.
Yeah. So I'm looking at you talking and you're smiling, and we are all smiling and nodding. There's so much energy in this room. I want to talk about something that all of us have in common. We're all women. And so a question that we like to ask our guests regularly is about hope. So I want to tap into your storyteller, and I want to ask you, what gives you hope as a woman in our society at this time?
Yeah. Meeting people like Kelsey.
Yes.
She was professional, and she was persistent, and she was kind, and in engaging me through LinkedIn. I see, and I have a daughter who I'm incredibly proud of, who at 34 has a seat at a really big table, and I see her being brave and courageous in ways that I never was as a younger person, and still struggle with today sometimes. Imposter syndrome is real for many of us.
It is.
But I have hope, because young people today have opportunities that are different than I had. We have strong women coming up into positions where they're helping shape things. And I have a granddaughter who's 2.5, who's going to rule the world.
Can we say her name now?
Her name is Meredith Ann, and she is gonna be fierce.
All right. Listeners, join in with us on let's just have a pause for Meredith Ann. We are all going to think about Meredith Ann and her power, because she is our hope. Isn't she, Bridget?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for us to always be so aware, again, about our language as we talk about children. And I see children every day in this big, beautiful house that love, though, how we talk about strong toddlers who are girls, and that being strong and opinionated and fierce is not a bad thing. And it's not a thing that we need to put down, but it's a thing we can help guide. So how do you use that to do good and to be the difference in this world that is in need of great light from strong women?
Awesome. So can you tell us more about how you've approached mentorship and helping others grow? As you're approaching retirement, I can't imagine you're not thinking about all the people you've influenced. If you could tell us, personally, professionally.
Well, and all the people who have mentored and influenced me, and what a gift that is. I really have tried very hard to live my life always thinking about my responsibility to reach a hand back to young women coming up today, because people did that for me. I can open the door for people because I have relationships that are rich and deep and with incredible people who are doing wonderful things to make this world a better place because of their position and their responsibilities and things. And so I can open the door for you, but what you do once you're at the table is all on you. And I'll talk to you about that, and I'll role play with you, and I'll give you hopefully some thoughtful things to think about. But I feel like we all have a responsibility as a human to always be reaching a hand back to help those around us.
You know, you take me to deep places. I'm sitting here and I'm sitting in your language, honestly, because you do have the power of the word, and it is extraordinary to experience. And I if I had a checkbook, I'd have it out.
I love that.
Right?
I'll send you my business card.
You have me inspired, right? So when you talk about being in need of a great light, when you say things about how you have your heart out, saying thank you, about this sense of responsibility that you have to reach a hand back. Is there any wisdom or any call to action that you want to give the UWSP students or recent alums listening to this?
Oh my gosh. It's interesting to get that question at this point in my career, right? As I think about, I'm not done, right? I'm maybe done with this part.
Yeah.
I think it's so important to try to say yes, even when it's scary. I think we all get presented with opportunities, and that little voice inside us that's like, ooh, I don't know, right? Can I do that? I think we have to be braver and say yes. I think it's really important as I think back on my career and how incredibly blessed I've been to meet so many incredible people. And what I've learned from those conversations and those interactions and how I've been inspired and influenced, I feel like I want to say to people, if we all do our little bit, we can do a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy. I talk to people, I call people all the time to say thank you. You know, the older person who every year writes a check for $300 and says to me, I wish it could be more. And I'm like, what you did today was enough.
Yeah.
If we all do enough collectively, we can do so much. And I think if we all those of us who walked in COVID and were struggling to make connections and feeling overwhelmed because it was such a big moment that none of us had any experience with, a group of beautiful people that I was in a circle with trying to find the light and be supportive, the language we used was, if we all think about reaching out our arms to touch and support and help what is within range, and everybody did that, eventually the visual for me was that we would all join hands and have a bigger impact. So I'll say that.
Okay, folks. She literally like her, I don't even know how to describe it, but her shoulders came up and her eyes lit up, and she said, I'll say that. There was sparks coming off of Bridget as she concluded that statement.
That made me smile. I love that. Well, Bridget, I just want to ask one more question before we wrap things up. And I'm very curious just because, like you said, you're getting close to retirement, which is super exciting. I also see that you have 35 years of experience with a nonprofit. I would like to know, what's a moment in your career that made you feel the most proud of in your work?
We kept this house open during a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And we had to put protocols in place to take care of our families who have medically fragile children. And our full-time staff of, I think we were 15 at the time, divided into little teams that never crossed. So you worked a week in the house and you worked a week at home. And we made food and we cleaned rooms and we did laundry and we did all the things together. And we didn't have a COVID outbreak. We did not shut our doors for a day. And during the pandemic, we decided we should do a capital campaign to raise money to build more, to support more families. And we did it successfully. Wow. And I have never been prouder of sort of the collective yes and the passion that I witnessed on this small but mighty team of people who believe in the work that we do, and all of the people that said yes on a Zoom call to my invitation to donate money. Mm-hmm. And I would say to people, like, I'm pretty good on the phone, but I'm so much better in person. And I will walk away from this mission in February knowing that I did everything I could.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of that.
The collective yes. Can you repeat the other phrase I started to write down? I didn't get the whole thing. If we all do enough.
Oh, if we all do a little.
If we all do a little, we can do a lot. Oh, that's great.
We can do a lot.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so true. And I think that's really important for all of us in every part of our life. Yeah. Because we all walk past moments where we can be the difference for somebody who needs a door opened, or needs a smile, or needs just somebody to see them in this very busy world that moves way too fast.
Yeah. So powerful. Thank you for crying with us today.
Yes, I did. I should
cry. How do you not cry every day? And I was like, I do cry every day because I'm grateful and I have big feelings. So
yes, I also did shed a few tears, but that's okay. Yeah. It's good to cry every once in a while.
It is. Yeah.
Well, we're so grateful that you joined us today, Bridget. It has meant a lot to get to meet you and to be in the presence of your light. And we wish you all the best.
Thank you for this opportunity, and happy holidays.
Yeah, same to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us in our 8th podcast series. We've focused on where love meets leadership, women in philanthropy. We hope these stories inspire you to step up, speak out, and make a difference in your own communities.
Our guest host, Jenny Riggenbach, is often saying to me, be curious. I have to be honest, sometimes I hear her say that and I just don't even know what it means. But when I review this series, I think it's crystal clear to me. It's about opening your eyes, opening your ears, and asking really good questions and then paying attention. I hope we can all carry that call to action to be curious forward with us in everything we do.
Be sure to tune in into our next series where we will continue to amplify the voices of those creating meaningful impact.
Until then, keep pushing forward, keep advocating, and keep driving change.